Hi, I'm Amie Canfield, Assistant Director of Athletics for Communications here at Vassar College, and I'm happy to welcome you today as we begin a new series of interviews featuring our alumni called Brewer Reflections. Our first guest joining us today via Zoom, as you can see, is Heather Ingraham from the class of 2015. This is a chance where I get to brag on Heather a little bit, so I'm going to embarrass her just a little. So Heather had an incredible career for the Brewers during her 4 years. She was a 10-time Liberty League champion, including 4 straight titles in the 400-meter dash and the 4x400-meter relay. 3-time Liberty League track performer of the meet, the 2015 Liberty League Track Athlete of the Year, still the current record holder in 5 events here at Vassar, a 2-time NCAA All-American in the 400-meter dash, and Vassar's first ever NCAA National Champion, winning the 400-meter dash her senior year in a school record time of 53.89, which still remains the 7th fastest time in Division III championship history. So thank you so much, Heather, for joining me today for our inaugural series of Brewers Reflections.
Thank you for having me.
So to start off, tell me a little bit about what brought you to Vassar College back in 2011.
Yeah. So I think when I was looking at colleges, I was looking for, a small liberal arts college experience. And I think what made Vassar stand out was just the people there. I think when I came and did my visit, I just immediately clicked with people there, both on the team and in some of the classes that I sat in on and things like that. And I think I just immediately felt really welcome and at home in the campus environment. And that was really important to me.
So what made your experience at Vassar so special?
Again, I think I would mostly say the people. I mean, I just feel like I had such a great support network there. Even starting freshman year with my fellow group experience and the people that I lived with in my dorm, and then building on top of that, my teammates and coaches, people in my major. I just felt like I had such a strong support network of people who were there for me. And I just felt very supported overall, and that was super important to me. I still have a lot of really close friendships from my days at Vassar, both, with peers and my coaches and things like that. So that's all really still very special to me.
So this is going to be a hard one, but talk to me about your favorite memory at Vassar. It can be in sport or not in sport. It's your choice.
Yeah. Oh gosh. So I'm not sure if I have like one distinct memory, but I think what makes me like very nostalgic to think about is just the simple things. Like I really miss just having dinners at the Dees with my teammates after practice and just all eating together after practice, still in our practice clothes and just, having fun and talking. And, just being out at the track in the spring when the weather is really nice. And, we've all finished with our workouts and we're just kind of hanging out and talking. I think just those little things are the things that I miss the most when I think back on that time.
Hey, sometimes it really is the little things that mean the absolute most.
Yeah.
So in terms of being a student athlete, what did your time as a student athlete mean to you?
I think what I'm most proud of and what I value the most when I think back on it is just kind of the mental toughness and the confidence that I built while I was there. I think especially thinking back on when I was a freshman, the track team and in particular, the sprints group that I was a part of was not super well established, and we were still kind of figuring things out, logistically and with practice times and facilities and things like that. And, sometimes it was really challenging just for us to get the workouts in. We wouldn't be able to have a coach with us in the fall. And there were times where we couldn't get on the track and we'd be hopping the fence and doing our workouts like in the pitch black and things like that. And we just always found a way to get things done. And I still think back on that time and I'm very inspired by that. And I think it still stays with me a lot today, and is like kind of an important thing I carry with me even now because, I still have days all the time where I'm struggling with something, either with work or in my personal life. And it's really easy to feel discouraged and, kind of want to throw in the towel or have the belief that there's not really a way to figure something out. And I think just having that confidence and the toughness to fall back on is really what gets me through a lot of those challenges. So I think that's what I'm most proud of.
And it's funny, your response actually kind of leads into my next question, which is, how did your athletic experience at Vassar shape your future?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I think the biggest thing is that it really shaped my mindset a lot, and the way I think about things and react to things. And I think there's a lot of aspects that are really applicable to my job now. And I have kind of like a corporate job, and I think one of the most important things is like in terms of the way that I approach problems and stuff like that. So I think that we sort of had like a continuous growth mindset, I think, on our team, where like there's always a way you can get better. There's always a way to like figure out a solution to something, even if you hit a roadblock, even if you have to go to plan B, C, D, E, etc. And I think I still carry that same mindset with me today, like every day at work. I don't often think about things like, oh, this is too hard, like this isn't going to work for us. I think going into things with the mindset of like creative problem solving and like, all right, we're going to figure this out. Like, let's see what we can do, that kind of a mindset. So I think that's sort of something that was really ingrained in me at Vassar, like especially as a student athlete. I guess I would also say I feel like I really built up my leadership skills a lot at Vassar. I think, growing up and prior to Vassar, I'm definitely someone who's more on the quiet and reserved side. And I think I had this idea in my head that a leader was, the loudest person in the room or the most persuasive and the one who made their voice heard the most. And that just didn't really resonate with who I was. And being at Vassar really challenged me to rethink, what an effective leader was and how I could be a good leader and influence people while still, maintaining like who I was as a person, as, on the quieter side and, not someone who likes to draw attention to myself and things like that. So I think that's also been really important in, what I do at work every day, is sort of like leading by example and just trying to have a positive influence on the people around me.
So actually, I'm going to kind of combine my next two questions because it seems kind of appropriate to do so. Okay. So what path did you take right after graduation? And obviously, what are you doing now?
Yeah. So after I graduated, I started at a company called Mathematica that does social policy research. And I joined their legal department. So that's where I started out, as kind of like a legal assistant position. And their main office is in Princeton, New Jersey. So I moved to Princeton and was there for a little while. I actually still work for the same company, but I now work and live in Cambridge, Massachusetts at our office there. And I'm in our project management office. So I work as a project manager, and what that entails is mostly like managing budgets and schedules for our research projects and things like that. So yeah, it's been a really great place to work. I can't believe I'm still here 5 years later, but yeah, it's been a really great experience, and I've had a lot of good opportunities, so I'm really happy with that.
That's outstanding. So what do you feel is the lasting impact on Vassar on your life? Like, what has Vassar as a whole just done for you since you graduated?
Yeah, I mean, I think the way I think about things and the way I see the world has really been impacted at Vassar. I think a lot of the classes are focused on, looking at things from different perspectives and challenging the status quo and thinking about like, all right, this is the way that things are done now, but, what's an alternative thing we could do? And so I think that's really impacted just the way that I see the world and I think I'm a lot more open to listening to other people's opinions and, trying to speak up about my own thoughts and beliefs as well, but, doing so in a respectful and productive way that will actually, make my voice heard. So I think that's the main thing. I think, I also just still feel like I have such a community behind me that I'll always really cherish with the people that I met while I was there. So I think those are two things that will really follow me for the rest of my life.
That's outstanding. So you obviously know we are in a very crazy kind of climate world right now with COVID and working remotely and being home. And as you've probably seen, here at Vassar, our student athletes are facing probably one of the biggest challenges that they've ever had in terms of, not having games in the fall and having their whole, just whole college experience completely different. What advice or thoughts do you have for current Vassar student athletes?
Yeah, I think there's sort of two pieces of advice I'd give. The first is to just really take advantage of all the resources that are there for you. I think it's easy to take it for granted of like how many people between like coaches, trainers, professors, just people who are there in your corner if you're struggling like mentally or physically, just reaching out to those people and, taking advantage of everyone that's there for you as a community on campus. And I guess the other thing is, to just remember that it's not going to be like this forever. I think it's easy sometimes to get caught in the mindset of like, this is never going to get better. It's always going to be like this. And I think it's important to, just keep going and just keep doing what you have to do, knowing that there will be a light at the end of the tunnel and, just keeping hope that things will go back to normal. Yeah, I guess that's what I would say.
It's honestly, it's great advice. And it's advice that, we all have to kind of take to heart, not just student athletes, is that we will get over this hurdle. Heather, thank you so much for joining me for our inaugural edition of Brewer Reflections. I truly appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. This was wonderful.
Great. And everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. Please check back every month as we visit with another alum and explore their Vassar past and their history as well. Thanks for joining.